Today I'm going to show you how to create 3 of the Dalish Vallaslin or blood writing designs from the video game Dragon Age Inquisition. I've already done my regular makeup underneath, so I'm ready to add the Vallaslin. I'm also wearing a set of ears from Madhouse FX on Etsy. I'll be using e.l.f. liquid eyeliner for this, but you can also use a pencil eyeliner if it's soft, or even a small brush and some face paint. This is a common Vallaslin for cosplayers because the simpler version of it is very easy to draw. First, you'll want to mark 2 points on each side of your face, one on either side of the bridge of your nose, and one up by your hairline. Now connect these 2 points with a gently curving line. Next, you'll draw 3 branches, each progressively shorter, coming off the bottom edge of that line. Now add even smaller branches to the 2 longest lines. One thing that makes this design pretty easy is that you don't have to be terribly accurate. It's supposed to look organic and natural like tree branches, so you can just draw whatever seems to fit. If you want to keep it simple, you can stop here. However, there's also a version of this Vallaslin that fills the forehead as well. To do this, we'll need to draw some straight lines, which can be difficult. I recommend grabbing something straight to hold up to your face to guide you. A pencil, a ruler, nearly anything will work. Draw one line from just below the center of your brows, most of the way up your forehead. Then draw a second, shorter straight line starting at the middle of your nose and going down just a short ways. Next, there are 2 nested V shapes sprouting from the top of that shorter line. The outer one should meet the beginnings of your brows. We'll add to the tops of those V's in a moment, but first, draw some big, gently curving lines coming out from the bottom of the longer line. These should arch over most of your brows and then dip down either close to or over the ends of your brows. They should just about meet the upper edges of the designs that you put on your cheeks. That big line is the primary guide for all of the rest of the branches that you'll draw on the forehead. Canonically, there are 4 branches that come off of each side of that main line, although you can do whatever suits the space you're working with. You'll also need to put a few lines coming off of that central line and 2 little sprouts coming off the very top. Finally, finish off those nested V's from before with a few little branches at the ends. This Vallaslin is very bold and tribal. It's one of my favorites. We're going to start with the nose design because it is the hardest part. Grab whatever tool you were using to create straight lines before, and let's make 2 very thin, very close together lines right down the bridge of the nose. Now add lines on either side that come together in a point on the tip of the nose and expand outward a little between the brows. These lines are supposed to be a little curved, so just lean into the natural shape of your nose to make it easier for yourself. Now add in a tiny triangle inside the point on the top of the nose and 2 more little triangles for accents just above the brows. Whew, that's the worst of it done. For the forehead, let's start with the diamonds in the middle. The top left and right diamonds are all filled, while the lower one is left empty and bracketed by rows of small dots. Then add the lines on either side. I think they look kind of like anime noses in profile. For the big curving lines on the forehead, you may want to start by marking the starting and ending points with dots, or maybe you'd prefer to just take a chance and make some bold, quick strokes. Add the little spikes coming off of them, getting progressively less spiky as you move upward, and that's the forehead done. For the cheeks, we'll start by drawing the main curving line. Put a dot right in between your nostril and the outer corner of your mouth on each side. Then add another dot at the top of your cheekbone. Connect these 2 dots with a curved line that follows the shape of your cheek. On the half closest to your ear, add 5 vertical lines crossing through your main line. Then add 2 dots in between each line. The end of your main line has a sort of a fishing hook style point at the end, as well as a little trail of dots coming off the end. There are also 4 thicker slashes going through the front half of that line. Each has a dot in the middle, above the main line, and the 4th slash is half-sized and has a dot below it as well. Last part, the chin. To be honest, this part looks pretty messy in-game, so don't worry too much about being precise here. First, there's an inverted triangle at the base of the chin. Next, draw on the curving lines that start just under the lip, split into 2, and stop just short of that inverted triangle. Inside those lines, there's a central dot and 2 tiny triangles with long tails bracketing it. Finally, there's a row of dots under the bottom lip, 4 on each side, and the first 3 of those dots on each side is accented by a line, getting progressively shorter towards the outer corner of the lip. This is the Vallaslin that I chose for my Inquisitor cosplay. It's pretty simple, but each line has to look very elegant and intentional, or this design can start to look messy very quickly. I always start with the chin because it's quick. First, draw an upside down V and connect the point to the bottom of the lip. Out of the ends of that V, draw 2 lines forking outward and ending with a small curl. Starting from the same point and crossing over those lines, there are 2 more lines that curl inwards. Now the forehead. I start by drawing an elongated oval over the brows and a smaller oval just below it, right between the brows. Connect those 2 ovals with a short line. We'll center our design around this shape. The bottom oval has a short spike below it. It should be centered, and it'll be obvious if it's not, so you may want to use your straight line tool again for this. Next, you'll draw in the main lines that will determine the shape of the overall tattoo. Feel free to add in some guiding dots if you're feeling nervous. I'd recommend one just above the beginning of each brow and one near each temple. Now, starting from the sides of the smaller oval, connect the dots with a gently curving line. Add a little curl facing outwards at the end of each line. This is also a good time to add the secondary branch that pokes out of the main line towards the end and then curls inward. There's a little hollow leaf shape at the end of this line if you really want to get specific. At the arch in that main line, draw a little connecting line that bisects the elongated upper oval. Almost done. Starting from the top of the elongated oval, you'll want to draw 2 sharply curving lines that dip below and then ultimately rejoin the main line. There's a darker leaf shape where this line meets the main line. Finally, starting 3/4 of the way up the elongated oval, draw a curving line that runs parallel to the main line and ends in a curled leaf design just past the other leaf design that we just made in the previous step. Then add one final line sprouting from the leaf you just made and trailing off towards the top of the elongated oval. Good luck with your own Vallaslin, and remember, practice makes perfect. If you're into Dragon Age, you might also enjoy some of my Dragon Age music videos, which I'll link here. Also, if you want this shirt that I'm wearing, you can get it on my Redbubble. I'll link it in the comments.